My name is Anonymous. I'm a hunter. I hunt things that go bump in the night. I hunt things that make your blood run cold. And sometimes I even hunt things that steal your soul. Most of my work is done alone, but every now and then I team up with other hunters, men and women who share my gift. It was one of those rare times that I met him.
We were both hired by the same people to do what we do best, hunt monsters. It was love at first sight. He was tall and muscular with dark tousled hair and eyes like chips of ice. His clothes were black leather, the kind that screamed danger and whispered promises of a wild ride. And he smelled like rain and ozone, like a storm about to break. I knew I wanted him, but I also knew I had to be careful. Hunters are a dangerous breed, even without the whole monster hunting thing. He noticed me watching him and smiled, a slow, lazy grin that made my knees weak. "You're new here," he said, his voice like gravel on stone. "I'm Anonymous," I told him. "And you are?" He leaned closer, his smile widening. "Call me Anonymous," he said, his breath warm on my neck. "I like dangerous games." I could feel the heat rising in my cheeks. "Me too," I whispered. We didn't talk much after that. There were too many eyes watching us, waiting for us to make our move. The tension between us was thick enough to cut with a knife, but it was a good kind of tension, the kind that made your skin tingle and your heart race. Our first job together was in a small town in the south. The locals had seen a creature, something big and hairy, snatching people off the street and dragging them into the woods. We tracked the monster to an abandoned cabin, and that's where we found our first victim. The smell of death was strong here, but it wasn't the only scent that filled my nostrils. I could also smell fear, the lingering essence of terror that clung to the air like cobwebs. It was a primal, powerful scent, and it stirred something deep within me. A thrill, a sense of purpose, a hunger to hunt. As we searched the cabin, we found more victims, each one more gruesome than the last. The monster had ripped their limbs off, crushed their bones, and feasted on their flesh. My stomach churned, but I forced myself to look, to see, to remember. These were human beings once, just like me and you. They had families and friends who loved them. They had dreams and hopes for the future. And now they were nothing but mangled corpses. But amidst the carnage, I found something else, something that made my blood run cold. A single silver locket lay on the floor, half hidden under a pile of leaves. I picked it up and brushed the dirt off my hands. As I opened it, a picture of a young girl stared back at me. Her eyes were big and innocent, her smile sweet and untarnished. But there was something about her that I couldn't quite put my finger on. Something about her eyes, the way they seemed to pierce through me, through my facade, through everything I had become. When I looked up, I saw him watching me. His eyes were dark, unreadable. "What do you see?" he asked, his voice low and gravelly. "Her," I whispered, my voice hoarse with emotion. "Who's she?" "She's why we're here, Hunter," he said, his eyes never leaving mine. "She's why we do what we do." The truth of his words hit me like a physical blow. This wasn't just about hunting a monster. This was about protecting innocence, about shielding the weak from the darkness that lurked in the shadows. This was about justice. And then I knew. I knew why I had been drawn to this man, to this life. It wasn't just because of his dangerous charm or the thrill of the hunt. It was because I loved him. I loved him with all my heart, with every fiber of my being. I threw myself into his arms, burying my face in his chest. He held me tight, his body a solid anchor in the midst of the storm. And in that moment, I knew I wasn't alone. We were in this together, him and I, two souls bound by a common purpose, two hearts beating as one.